first let's duplicate all this, right? So that we have a good duplicate. And first let's move our body panel first. Before we move that, I think I'm just gonna put the origin of our body panel to be there, right? So we're just gonna have to use the 3D cursor, and yeah, now we can zero it out, and we're gonna rotate it. So we're gonna rotate it so that it's vertical, and we can use it. We can use 3D cursor for that, and we can rotate it and 90 degrees, and we're gonna move it to our model, right? Go to the Z. Yep, something like that. And for the back panel, we're gonna move it something like 20 centimeters. And for the front panel, we're gonna move it like 10 centimeters. And maybe this one we could do with, so let's see if, no, it's too close. So yeah, 20 is a good number. And first, we're gonna connect this back panel to the front panel. But first, I think we have to flip this orientation, right? Because it's facing the other way around. And now we can safely join it to this. Sorry. Let's turn on the face orientation and object and join. So we've got this one good panel. Now we just have to connect that and that. Just to up to the waist, because this is the flaps already, and we're gonna delete only faces. And yeah, voila, now this is our body panel. Let's duplicate it, and we're gonna apply the mirror before we join it to our color. So first, let's duplicate our color, and then this one, and we'll join it to our I think first let's create a pin thing for this. I think it's wrong. Okay, now let's create a pin group for the entire neck, because we're gonna use the color as the pinning for the cloth. So yeah, now we are ready to join. Object and join. And now we just have to connect this to that, right? And there. That to that. Voila. And that to that. Okay, now let's remove only faces, right? Now let's do the arm. So that is our arm, and the thing is, I think I'm gonna, just to make it center, right? We just have to move it there, 13 centimeters, right? So that should be enough. And let's check. Yep. So that is our arm, and we're gonna bring that up to our model, right? So something like that, right? Maybe 1.40. Too close. Add another centimeter, and that is a good place. Now we just have to center it to the arm, and we can, yeah, just to make it a little bit faster, we're gonna use our this thing and just copy the Y, and then we're gonna use it there, and now it will be perfectly centered. And Yeah, now we can move it a little bit to the side, something like that. Yeah, that is good place. And now we just have to kind of shape it a little bit to wrap around the arm nicely. And to do that, we're gonna use our our 3D cursor, right? And oh, it's too much. Now let's snap it there, and we're gonna rotate it around the arm. Maybe first it's gonna be 15, and let's invert it and move it another 15. So now let's select this 4, and then we're gonna select that another 4, right? So that, voila. And well, that's gonna be tricky, isn't it? Yeah, 4. Yeah, now let's put it there instead, I think. Let's see what we've got, right? Was it bad? Yeah, a little bit bad. But you can actually tweak this around so that they don't kind of peek through there. So first, let's bring this along with this, right? Along the z-axis, right? Something like that. And that is great, right? So then we're gonna move the other 4 face, right? And we're gonna select the remaining of it, this one included, and yeah, let's put it there, and we're gonna flip it or rotate it 75 degrees, and that's gonna be great. And that's kind of okay if you see that it's piercing through the skin right now, because it's gonna be okay. Yeah, that is good. Now the first thing we're gonna do is actually to connect that and that point, right? And let's hide the model. Okay, now that is, wait a minute, I think we have to make it this a little bit clean first, right? Because it seems that I haven't cleaned this up properly. You can actually skip it if you wish, to be honest. It's just me, I guess. I like to make everything topologically clean, right? Okay, that one to there, that one to there. What else? This one there, this one there, and also this one, I think. And last, this one too. So now we can safely rebridge the arm panel, and that's gonna be great. And we're gonna remove only faces. Now we can use mirror right now, and that's gonna create that. And we're gonna, before we apply it, the mirror, we're gonna duplicate it before we apply it. And now we just have to join this thing to that thing. Join, and yeah, now we are ready to join these things. So this 2 belongs to the back part, right? And the other 6 belongs to the front part. So that. Okay, now that's cool. Now we can remove the thing, only face. Now we're gonna connect the body to the arm. So that to that, right? perfect. And wrong selection there. There, there. Okay, now we just have to delete all the faces. This one first, right? Okay, now we can delete all this, only faces, and there you go. So now we can, now actually we are ready for assembly, I think. And yeah, first I think we have to set the pin group to the color, and we're gonna change it because the last time we're using like leather, and that's way too stiff for the entire body. So we're gonna use denim for this case, and let's run the simulation. So bring back our model and let's run. Oh, maybe it's a little bit too low on the max swing force. Let's make it 10. Okay, now that is our simulation, and to be honest, they look very well, great, to be honest. Let's save shape key and that, right? So yeah, it looks great, right? So let's apply something like subdivision mode surface, and let's see it from our light. So let's something like that, 45, and let's decrease it to 150, and that is how it looks when it's shaded. And yeah, if you're kind of okay with this, then you can start, because it's actually, sorry, not start, you can actually stop watching, because so far this is actually 19%, 90% done. But I think it's a good thing that I'm gonna add another thing, and that thing is, do you notice that there is this kind of a weird shape under the arm there? This kind of this crumpled part around the underarm. Well, the reason for that, there's going to be two crumpled thing. One is underarm, and then the next is this around the waist, right? So on this next part, we're gonna just tweak this just a little bit to make the cloth to be really like form fitting. So the first one is actually, remove that, and the first thing is we're gonna add an extra dart on the back, right? So first, let's duplicate this so that we have a good stuff. And let's go back to basic, and we're gonna create another cut around here, right in the middle of the cloth. So let's put them into the cut, right? So now we can just simply add, another cut there, and that's gonna be the darts, the third dart for the back panel. The reason why we need darts at the back, even though that we have actually measured the waist, and the reason for that is because if you notice that the back is, they kind of have this groove in the middle part here, right? So they kind of convex to the deep there. So that's the reason why they're kind of the third one, if you notice that they have this kind of extra fabric there, because the body should have a convex thing around the middle of the back. So that's why if you want to remove the extra fabric around the waist, it's a good idea for us to create a third darts. So that is our third darts, and the next thing that we're gonna fix, and this is actually the first time I'm showing it, and that is to create side darts. You see, as I pointed out before, that you've got this weird crumpled part around the underarm, and the reason for that, if you notice, is because the breast, obviously, the orientation of the breast. So let's draw body, human body, and so right, so just like I've drawn earlier, human body shape like that, right? So like that. So that is the hips, this is the belly, and then this is the torso or the rib cage. And for men, this is the shape that you have, basically a curved cylinder, right? But for women, they have this thing, wonderful thing that we call breast, right in the middle there, right? So the thing about breast is that they kind of add a volume to the chest, right? So instead of just a straight to the breast, they create this. Okay, that this is the exaggerated version of it, but they're gonna create that first. It's gonna be a little bit straight to the front, and then they're gonna curve it down here, right? And that is kind of tricky because this shape does not correspond well with the straight back, right? So the front one looks like this, and then the back one looks like that. So the thing is, remember that when we measure this, our measurement, we measure this, the distance, the bust length from the shoulder, this one, to 24 centimeters. We measured that from the shoulder to the bust line, right? Meanwhile, we don't really measure the back, remember? So the thing is, let's bring back our template, and in there you will notice that I have created this extra measurement for the back. So just for the thought experiment, in case you want to make the side darts, let's make another of the length, this dress length. So let's duplicate that, and let's delete everything but the first vertex. Let's hide our model first now, and we're gonna delete everything vertices so that we end up with this one thing. So first we're gonna extrude this, right? And let's bring our model, and we're gonna put this right to the waist. So let's duplicate the Z, and let's Let's hide it, and we're gonna put them there. So now let's bring it to the front until it touches our measurement. Right, something like that. And yeah, now let's subdivide it to create it so that it matches to our bust line, right? So that one, that should be there, right? And let's pull it to the front, something like that, and maybe a little bit to the top, right, until it touches the bust line. And now let's curve this to the back, right, something like that, until it's curved nicely. Okay, maybe we need an extra curve, an extra vertices there, right? So something like that. And this one goes to the inside, and maybe another one here. So that, so they're not buried under the skin. So that is our back measurement from the shoulder to the waist. We don't have to deal with the flaps. So now let's measure it, right? So let's delete all and then resegment the entire thing. Now you would notice that the distance from the shoulder to the waist on the back panel should be only 34 centimeters. Meanwhile, our front panel is actually 24 and 12, making it 36. So you've got extra 2 centimeters for the back, right? So let's go back to our Photoshop. And so the measurement that we took, it is this 36. Meanwhile, the back is only 34, right? So there's this extra 2 centimeters that we should kind of remove on the back panel. So let's hide our measurement and let's bring back our fabric, and let's this, right? So this is our outside right now, and to do it correctly we have to remove a 2 centimeters from the back. So let's remove all these edges, right? The sewing edges, and this one, and also that one, right? Is that all? The sewing edges for the body, right? So that is, we're gonna remove that, and we're gonna cut 2 centimeters off the back panel. To do that, you just have to delete 2 edges, right? Dissolve edges, and then we're gonna bring this entire panel. Maybe we should be doing it from the side so that we can be sure that it's only the back panel that is moved, and we're gonna include that, and we're gonna move it to the top 2 centimeters, right? So now we have 2 centimeters difference. So now, because we removed 2 centimeters from the back, so if you calculate this edges from the bust to the waist, you've got only 17, right? Meanwhile, this one, you've got 19. So you have that 2 centimeters difference. Meanwhile, you have exactly the same number of edges between the front and the back. And that's where our side darts is gonna be. So to make side darts, we're gonna create a cut from the bust line. This one is already straight, and we're gonna create 2 centimeters down, cut right there, right? Same thing with the right panel. So yeah, that is our side darts, and we're gonna delete all that. Same thing with this, right? And face. Now we just have to connect this and that. Let's bridge it. Sorry. Now, okay, now I think we have to make the number of edges the same. This is 9 and this is 11. So we have to remove one edge. So this one is a good candidate, and we're gonna select back all the edges and bridge edge loops. Only faces. Do the same with this one, right? Now let's select all that, bridge edge loop, and only faces. So that is our side darts. Now, if you go back to our cloth simulation and then run it again, let's see how it works out. No, we have to reconnect the back and the front, I guess. So yeah, let's do that. So that one to there, right? And we're gonna move it to the bottom, another one, and then it connects to there, and now it fits exactly the same. So do the same with the right side, and yeah. Now only face. Now let's run the simulation again. Now that's finished, and yeah, let's save it as shaky, and let's compare it side to side with our previous attempt. So this is the previous attempt. You've got this a lot of thing going on your arm and this behind the back, and the new one, you still got a bit of that on the back, but it's much less, and the underarm seems to have gone, right? And that is looking great. Actually, now let's see it with the subdivision, and let's lit it, and that is outside, practically looking good. Now, the next thing, this is gonna be very quick. I'm just gonna UV unwrap it and then apply my old shader, right? So let's return to the basic, and then we're gonna go to UV editing, select all, and and unwrap. You're gonna get that. Sorry, but first you have to go back to the basis before you unwrap it, so that it's not distorted. And yeah, now it's looking great, right? It's kind of easy. Let's do synchronized thing, and that is, well, let's rotate it so it's kind of a more straight, right? A little bit again. Maybe a little bit more. Yeah, something like that. So do the same with this one until it kind of matches with their counterparts, right? You can bring this back, bring it wider, and yeah, that is seems to be kind of straight, I guess. Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, that's good enough. And now let's deal with the color. Just gonna have to bring it to the top, right? Like doing something like that. And now, well, that's kind of problematic. Now this thing, I think I'm gonna rotate all this 90 degrees, right? So that it doesn't bother our color. And let's put it 0.5. Another thing, something like that, right? Meanwhile, the arm, let's bring in to the middle, 0.8, and that is our, yeah, this is our UV map, right? So the next thing, we're gonna go to the shading, and then I'm gonna open our uh, thing, our demonstration before that I used here, and I'm gonna copy our uh, let's use our fabric, and then down there you're gonna find, I'm just gonna bring my old uh, fabric print. Let's see, is it the thing? Okay, now this is fabric print, and let's copy that and bring there to here, right? Wrong and copy. So I'm gonna copy that and bring it here, right? This is our shirt shader print, and we're gonna use that here. But before that, I'm gonna duplicate it so that before we apply the everything to this shader. So let's shirt shader print, right? Now we're gonna have, we just have to apply every face to this uh, shader, right? Now everything will turn gray, so that all the color codes is kind of gone. That's the reason why I copy the original. So yeah, now let's go to our this final shape, and then do that. And let's hide the color print. Let's hide this. And that is our outside. Very looking cool. Very looking, yeah, good. And I think it's kind of great, actually. Yeah. Now let's see. Maybe I should add another solidify modifier, right? Before the subdivision. Where is it? Solidify. And then we're gonna put it 1 millimeter and add subdivision. And we're gonna, that is a little bit clearer. And yeah, that is our outside. You've got this beautiful, great looking dress that I always dreamed of teaching about. And yeah, now you can enjoy it. And probably we're gonna bring some floor just to give it a little bit of a, let's bring a floor from my set. uh, where is it? mm, Set, right? Now let's bring our room, right? That's BJ, which means background, and paste it to our here, and there you go. So that is looking cool, isn't it? So yeah, I guess that's it uh, for our outside series. The next part we're gonna talk about trousers, and it's gonna be exciting. So stay tuned for that and see you later.